Good morning and welcome to Church at Home with Rachael for Tuesday, the 7th of December. Today marks the 22nd anniversary of my ordination to the priesthood. And I remember this day 22 years ago vividly. I had a fever of almost 103 and I thought I was going to die, but I was going to get ordained. And it was a beautiful, windy, horrible night. The weather was just atrocious. And yet I had several members of my Ask and Imagine group from my first year there show up. One of them, Mike Gilson, was from the St. Thomas area, and I was ordained in Stratford. And Nathaniel was from up near Listowel, and he was in my group. And Jess Warden, who is now a priest, I believe, in the Diocese of Ottawa, and Anna. I can't remember her name. She's a beautiful young lady. And they were just incredible group, and I was so pleased to have them come and to be with me and to celebrate that night. It was a surprise and such an incredible gift, and it's a reminder to me each year of what I'm called to do. Part of what I love doing is working with young people, and I don't have much of a chance to do that. But another part of it, of that evening reminds me of so much that is happening in this Advent season. So many celebrations and so many things to look forward to prepare for, and to anticipate. And so this Advent, I have been participating in a piece of work, an Advent devotional, so to speak, that's being delivered to my email box each day by Diana Butler Bass. I spoke to her, I believe, yesterday about empathy. And she has this Advent calendar from her cottage. The cottage is where she writes, a little house she has, a small sort of shed. No, it's like a little cottage in her backyard where she writes her books and prepares her talks and things like that. And she's sharing us from the cottage. And today's reflection is an excerpt from a foreword she wrote for Madeline L'Engle's book, Miracle on 10th Street and Other Christmas Writings. And I am shamelessly going to rip her off and share this with you today because it speaks to me a great deal of this season of Advent and reminds me of my ministry as a priest. So this is for her, this is from the 2nd of Advent, so last Thursday's time. Anglicans are best described as a Christmas people, those whose faith and devotion witness to Emmanuel, God with us, the incarnate love in the world. That presence can be discovered in all creatures, the great and the small, and in each home and hearth and in every field and forest. A Christmas people are not particularly interested in a distant or regal God. Instead, the emphasis is on withness, a quotidian God. The incarnation draws the heart toward finding the divine everywhere and at all times. Those formed in this spirit trust that the everyday world is sacred. Anglicanism believes in a king who finds a stable and manger the most suitable of birthplaces, and who fetes his friends by serving up a simple meal of bread and wine. This is, more than anything else, a homey faith, a spirituality of humanness and hospitality. Miracle on 10th Street testifies to the incarnation not with difficult theological words or philosophical arguments, but with the sort of poetry readers of Madeline L'Engle surely expect. But something else happens in the reflection as well. L'Engle does not explain the incarnation with lovely language, but she guides us into it with the skill of a spiritual director and the insight of a mystic. Observe and contemplate, she invites in her poem, Love's Incarnate Birth. Make real, bring to be. This is the very thing we do not do in December with the busyness of the days and the almost careless over-familiarity with the holiday. We have come to take Christmas for granted. We have lost its language, its mystery. We have forgotten how to see this season, one shaped by the paradoxes of dark and light. But L'Engle never scolds or chastises readers to remember the true meaning of Christmas. Instead, she calls to attend and reflect upon the commonplace of December days. Go beyond the planning and parties and presents and even the church services. Go deeper. Pay attention. Observe and contemplate. The entire season from Advent through Epiphany is, in effect, an invitation to mindfulness. Winter gives us the opportunity to see the structure of the world more clearly in the same way practicing mindfulness does. I am not sure if the word mindful was readily available to L'Engle when most of these selections were written. As I read these pages, however, the phrase "a mindful Christmas" wormed its way into my imagination. Could we truly experience Christmas mindfully, living this holy season attentive to the presence of God with us? Can we practice incarnation? Practice incarnation. What an amazing possibility. And that was from the foreword by Diana Butler Bass in Madeline L'Engle, Miracle on 10th Street and Other Christmas Writings, published in 2019. And here's the poem she refers to. Observe and contemplate, make real, bring to be. Because we note the falling tree, the sound is truly heard. Look, the sunrise. Wait, it needs us to look, to see, to hear, and speak the word. Observe and contemplate the cosmos and our little earth. Observing, we affirm the worth of sun and stars and light unfurled. So let us, seeing, celebrate the glory of love's incarnate birth and sing its joy to all the world. Observe and contemplate, make real, affirm, say yes, and in this season, sing and bless mind, wind, ice, snow, rabbit and bird, comet and quark, things small and great. Oh, observe and joyfully confess the birth of love's most lovely word. Madeline L'Engle. Observe and contemplate. Those two words mean so much to me on this particular day, because so much of my ministry has been about observing and contemplating, observing the place where Jesus is in the lives of my congregations, observing where Jesus is in my life, and contemplating that, and considering where is God in my life, where is Jesus in my life. And when we consider, when we observe and contemplate, and we recognize where Jesus is in our lives, we will find we are moved. We are moved to give to Jesus. We are moved to respond to him. In some ways, we are like that tree that needs us to watch, so that when it falls, it's real. When the bird sings, it needs to be heard. When we observe and contemplate, we appreciate and we make those things worth happening, because then we participate in their actions. And then we are called to participate in another action, the action of Jesus' love in the world. In this season of Advent, in this anniversary of mine, of my ordination, I invite you to observe and contemplate with me. Look around you and see the glory and the wonder and the miracles that take place in every moment. The miracle of simply breathing, of listening, of watching, of being able to listen and contemplate and observe. Those are all miracles that God has given us. And the best way that we can respond to such miracles is to use them. To take this time of Advent and Christmas and Epiphany, to take them to time to observe and contemplate, to observe and see the work that God is doing, to contemplate the incredible joy and peace that Jesus provides. And then once we have observed and contemplated, we will have no response except to give thanks, to rejoice, to share what we have observed and contemplated with others. That's what I hope my 22 years of ministry have been about, observing and contemplating and responding to those observations and contemplations, observing the work of Jesus in my life, contemplating what it means and what it means to my ministry, and responding by sharing it with others. I pray that is what I have done, and I pray that is what I will be called to do in the next 22 years. Thank you for observing and contemplating with me. Thank you for walking this Advent journey with me. And thank you to be here to celebrate my 22nd anniversary with me. It truly means the world to me. Have a wonderful day, and God bless you. I'll see you tomorrow for Church at Home with Rachael.